السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Inshallah, we continue with the second part of Surat At-Takweer, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ. So, if you notice, all the verses we have discussed so far, they all start with إِذَا, وَإِذَا, وَإِذَا, وَإِذَا. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that when these events take place, right? And then he continues, وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ. There are more events. I stopped at verse 10 because I want you to be able to memorize, inshallah. But inshallah, we'll do it all today, and you can take your time memorizing it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, and then he will tell us what will happen when all of these things happen. Okay? So here he says, وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ. When the sky is stripped away. You know, when you peel something, when you remove the lid or the surface of something. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes the sama, then humans will be able to see everything that is in the upper realm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in many verses in the Quran that the sama will be inshaqqat, it will be split open, it will be infatarat, it will be cut into pieces, and these are different stages. وَيَوْمَ تَشَقَّقُ السَّمَاءُ بِالْغَمَامِ وَنُزِّلَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ تَنزِيلًا. It will be cracked into pieces, and the angels will be coming down. So this is one of the stages where the sama is going to be kushitat, removed, stripped away completely. Then we'll be able to see everything in the upper realm. And then Allah says, وَإِذَا الْجَحِيمُ سُعِرَتْ. And when the hell is set ablaze, Jahim, when Jahannam is set ablaze, and then will be boiling, getting ready. It's like you have a beast that is so hungry and it's ready to eat. And then it knows that the food is coming. This is how Jahannam is feeling at that moment. وَإِذَا الْجَنَّةُ أُزْلِفَتْ. And when the Jannah, when the heaven, when paradise is brought near, أُزْلِفَتْ. The word Muzdalifa comes from the same word. And also the disbeliever said, إِنَّمَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفَى. We only worship these idols so that they bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Muzdalifa, Uzlifa, Zulfa, all of this means to bring near. So Allah will bring the Jannah near or close to those who are good. And when all of these incidents happen that we talked about in the previous video, and these three incidents, when all of this happens, this is the most important part here. عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا أَحْضَرَتْ. So this verse is surrounded by events, when, and then it's surrounded from the other side with a qasam, with an oath from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا أَحْضَرَتْ. When all of these events happen, then every soul will know what it brought along. Meaning all the deeds that you've done, now everything, your life is like a movie in front of you. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surat Al-Kahf, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها. That the disbelievers, when they see their book, when they look at it, they will cry, they will scream in fear, and they will say, woe to us, يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب. What is this book? What kind of book is this that does not leave out a single tiny detail or any major detail? Abdullah ibn Abbas, commenting on this verse, he says that even a smile will be recorded. If somebody was backbiting someone in front of you and he just smiled, you did not forbid them, you did not protect the ird or the honor of your brother or sister who is being backbited, this will be recorded. You will see things that you never expected. And all of us will see things that we've never expected to see. Even a smile that we did, even a confirmation that we did, even a wink, this will all be recorded. Subhanallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and forgive all our shortcomings. So Allah says, عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا أَحْضَرَتْ. And then Allah says, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّسِ. I swear by al-khunnas. And the khunnas, it's a familiar word to us because we all know min shari al-waswas al-khannas. So khunnas, same word, same root, which means the thing that retreats or hides or disappears. And scholars or scientists, Muslim scientists and Muslim researchers, they say that this verse And the next verse actually refers to an amazing phenomenon, which is the black hole, right? Because the earlier scholars, they said this either refers to the stars or refers to cows and herds and things like that. But actually, a black hole is a star, or used to be a star. And Dr. Zaghlul al-Najjar, he talks about this and he says that there is, so if we look at the meaning, al-khunnas, right? So this refers to the star that hides, right, or disappears. Al-jawari al-kunnas, al-jawari means something that moves, right? Something that is running, that has movement. And kunnas can mean to sweep or to vacuum. And Dr. Zaghlul Najjar, he said that an American scientist, when he is referring to black holes, which used to be stars, he said that they are super giant vacuum cleaners when he was describing black holes. So a lot of Muslim scholars, they say, or modern scholars, they say that this verse, these two verses, refer to black holes. So Allah is swearing by the black holes. And when Allah swears by something, it's because Allah wants us to reflect on the magnificence of His creation. Another oath here, and I talked about this before, so I'm not going to talk about it in detail. Allah says, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسْ, by the night when it falls, وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسْ, by the morning when it breaks. Talked about this when we talked about Surat Al-Falaq. But the word تَنَفَّس, just want to talk about it a little bit. تَنَفَّس means to breathe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically describing the morning when it comes as the morning when it takes its first breath. So there is some sort of imagery here. It's like, no matter how dark it becomes, there will always be that morning breath. There will always be that, well, when you feel that you're choked and like things are being constricted and your life is getting so much harder, you will be able to have a breath eventually, and the morning will come to give you not just light, but also the ability to breathe and the ability to relax. And this is followed by إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. This Quran, Allah swearing, Allah swears by the black hole and by the night and the morning that comes to give you hope. This Quran is the speech of an honorable messenger, right? إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ. So in another way, in another sense, if you want this freedom, this peace, this sense of tranquility and relaxation after lots of difficulties that you've been going through, what is the solution? Go to that speech, to the Quran. إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. And that messenger is not referring to Prophet Muhammad, it's actually referring to Angel Jibreel alayhi salam, because not only is he an angel, but he's a messenger coming with a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then Allah describes Jibreel alayhi salam, says, ذِي قُوَّةٍ عِنْدَ ذِي الْعَرْشِ مَكِينٍ. Remember, this is revealed in Mecca when the Muslims were being persecuted. That is why there is this sense of that you're going to get a breath after the difficulty. And there are words of reassurance. This Quran is coming to you not from anyone, it's coming from an honorable messenger. The Quwwah, who has so much power, so powerful, possesses so much power. We know that Angel Jibreel alayhi salam destroyed the village of Qawm Lut. He has 600 wings. He did not need to use even a wing. He used a feather from one wing in order to destroy the village of Qawm Lut. So Allah is reminding the companions, the Sahaba, that are going through, and all of us, of course, if we're going through a difficulty and periods of weakness, our brothers and sisters in Palestine and in other places, Lebanon, who are oppressed and who are being attacked and invaded by evil occupation, like the Israeli occupation. This is a reminder for them. This message is coming from a noble messenger, the Quwwah that has power, strength, the Quwwah, as he said, what he did with the village of Qawm Lut, عِنْدَ ذِي الْعَرْشِ مَكِينٍ, and he has an honorable status with the Lord of the throne, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this angel Muta' is obeyed by all other angels. Imagine if one angel with one feather destroyed the whole village. And we know in the battle of Badr, when Angel Jibreel alayhi salam came on the Prophet, gave the good news to Abu Bakr, that he saw Angel Jibreel leading an army of angels coming to help the Muslims in the battle of Badr. So if Angel Jibreel is Muta', meaning all the other angels obey him. So remember, this is This is the messenger coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to support you, to give you power, to give you strength through the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مطاع ثم أمين, he's obeyed there with the other angels. وَمَا صَاحِبُكُمْ بِمَجْنُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now confirming to those who are denying that this is the saying, this Quran is coming from this honorable messenger, is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is telling them, the other messenger, the human messenger who is coming to you, مَا صَاحِبُكُمْ بِمَجْنُونَ. He is not insane like you guys were claiming, because the Arabs, the disbelievers, they were claiming that Aya, can you wait? I'm recording a video right now. That this messenger was crazy, was insane. So they made that claim about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah is reminding them that he's not insane. And subhanAllah, Allah is using a beautiful word here to remind them. Sahibukum means your friend. Allah is referring to Prophet Muhammad when he's talking to the disbelievers of Mecca. He's your friend. You know him. You've known him for 40 years. You trusted him more than you trusted yourselves. You, like subhanAllah, if they had something so precious, they wouldn't trust themselves with it. They would give it to Prophet Muhammad to keep it. Would you keep the most precious possessions with a person you think is crazy or is insane? Of course not. So Allah is reminding them using their own logic. This is the man that you trusted for 40 years, that you trusted more than you trust your own children, you trusted more than you trust your own family. Now you're making a claim that he's insane. How could you trust him if he was insane? And as we know, subhanAllah, the message of Muhammad has taught all of humanity. How could that come from an insane person? We have non-Muslims like Thomas Carlyle, Nobel Prize winners, considering Prophet Muhammad to be the strongest and the most influential leader of all times. They are Christians, they are not Muslims, and they do not consider Jesus to be number one. They consider Prophet Muhammad to be number one. Some person, another writer, he said if Prophet Muhammad existed today, he would solve the problems of the world before he finishes a cup of tea. So Allah is reminding them based on how they knew Prophet Muhammad, this is your friend, this is the man that you trusted, he's not insane. وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ بِالْأُفُقِ الْمُبِينِ. And indeed, Muhammad ﷺ saw Jibreel in the clear horizon. وَمَا هُوَ عَلَى الْغَيْبِ بِضَنِينٍ. And Muhammad ﷺ will always be eager to share al-ghayb, the unseen, with you. Meaning he wouldn't keep that information to himself. He cared about your possessions, your worldly possessions, and he protected it for you, for your own good. Now that he knows something that will protect your own akhirah, your own eternity, he will never withhold that information from you. Muhammad ﷺ will deliver everything as it came to him. وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَيْطَانٍ رَجِيمٍ. And indeed, this Quran is not the speech of a shaitan rajim, because this Quran guides to righteousness. It tells you to do good things and stay away from evil things. How could it be coming from an evil shaitan? And you yourselves know that the things you have been doing, enslaving people, torturing people, usurping each other's properties, and all of these practices, the burying your daughters alive, you know this is evil. How could Muhammad tell you not to do these evil things and claim that this is coming from a shaitan? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after he provides all of this evidence, he says, فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ. So where will you go? You have nowhere to go except to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a beautiful verse. Think about it when you're going through some difficulty. Ask yourself, where will I go? I cannot run away from the qadar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot run away from Allah. So no matter what's going on in my life, I need to go back to Allah. That I have no other way, no other person to go to. So just remember this. Look up and say, where will I go? I have no one else to turn to except you, Allah. So Allah is telling them, after I gave you all this evidence, you have nowhere else to go. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Indeed, this is a reminder for all that exists, for the humans and the jinn. And subhanAllah, this is a good news to the Muslims at that time who were being persecuted, telling them this is going to be for all of mankind, which is to tell them that this Quran is not going to be just for Quraysh. Don't think that the opposition or your enemies are going to crush you and the message is going to die with you. No, this is going to reach the horizon. This is going to reach everywhere. This is a reminder for all of mankind. And who will be reminded? لِمَنْ شَاءَ مِنْكُمْ أَنْ يَسْتَقِيمَ. Those who wish to be on the straight path. So if you have this intention, I want to be guided, I want to be on the straight path, Allah will definitely help you. If you're not receiving help, then something is wrong. Then you're not sincere. Then it could be that you're not actually doing إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. You're not depending or having tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you, to put you on the straight path. So look back, look at your heart, examine your intentions. See if you have tawakkul or not, if you're depending on Allah or not. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us, inshallah, the straight path. And then finally, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Remember that you will not be able to will for something. Nothing you will happen. Nothing you wish will happen, except by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I remember one day, I had a student about like 6 or 7 years ago, a non-Muslim student, and I was so eager to convert him to Islam. I talked to him and I explained, like, I gave him a brief introduction to all beliefs, including Islam. And after the presentation, he told me if I were to choose a religion, I would definitely choose Islam. It makes more sense than anything else. And I was like so eager to make him convert. Like, I want it now, I want it tomorrow, I want it today. And then I go to sleep. And subhanAllah, I wasn't thinking about that verse at all, but I wake up with that verse being repeated in my mind. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ. It's not your will, it's the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I realized I need to let it go and leave it up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide this person whenever he sees fit. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the straight path. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.